and welcome to the first episode of the Star Citizen podcast. I am DevilDog0491, your host, with my co-host,
This is Orcard here.
Orcard, yes, and we are going to be putting out every single week a Star Citizen podcast. It's going to be released via YouTube. It's also going to be released via iTunes and podcasts and stuff like that. Links to my channel and Orcard's channel will be down below. And we're just going to be covering basic stuff from news, weekly coverage, and
Any kind of updates from the guys that basically say, here's where the game's at, and any kind of goals they've achieved through the week, such as the millions of dollars they've raised through the fundraiser.
Exactly. They've raised like $3 million in only the last 2 days. So, let's hop right into it. Orca, tell me something about the start of Star Citizen. I know that they started September 1st, 2012 on the fundraising, but...
They started September 1st, yeah, you're right, on the fundraising. Since then, they have raised $33 million. And this is just
ridiculous.
This is just from fans, that have said, hey, take our money. It's cool that you give us ships too and other in-game items for it, but we want you to have this money to build the best possible game you can build, because a lot of people have been looking for this kind of space sim. Now, you could be asking, what is Star Citizen? Well, it's going to be a big new MMO, possibly server-based, and it's looking to trump every game out there. It's a PC-only game, and they're making it for PC only.
This is the largest crowdfunded game in history. And, as he already said, it's already got over $30 million subscribed. And just today alone, they raised $1.5 million selling Idrises and all kinds of other stuff, which is another different, it's on a whole nother subject, but they only put out, they put out 100 Idrises at the price tag of $1,000 or $1,200 each, and they sold out in 30 seconds. People are just throwing money at this game at a ridiculous rate, and I have never seen a game before with this amount of hype. It is absolutely insane.
There's fans foaming at the mouth just to get little glimpses here and there. Recently they released something called the Hangar module, which lets you view and customize the ships that you've bought through the pledging, which, like we said before, pledging is basically giving them money and they'll give you a ship. But you'll also get these other little things like beta access, alpha access, as well as digital manuals, etc., etc.
Exactly. And the basic release timeline for Star Citizen is that the projected release date is going to be late 2014, early 2015, and they're going to be doing those modules like Orcar was talking about with the Hangar module, dogfighting module. I think there's a planet module and some other type of stuff that I can't really remember at this point. You remember any of the other ones that they're going to come out with?
At the moment, they've only announced the dogfighting module that'll be coming up before Christmas, and that was said by Chris Roberts, who is the creator of the game and the head of Cloud Imperium Games, which is the guys that are making it. But at the moment, they're probably going to be doing an alpha, a beta for the full game towards the middle of next year, which is probably around June. Is the big thing that people are saying that's going to happen around.
Yeah, and that's something that I absolutely love about this game, is the fact that they're coming to the community, because the community is we're the ones making this game possible, and they're coming to us with the content as they create it, so that they can fix stuff as it comes out. I know that Chris Roberts was talking about his design philosophy behind the game, because he's been making games for a while, and he worked on movies and stuff, and he was saying that a big problem with a lot of publishers like Activision and stuff is when they make a game like Battlefield, you're working on so many things that they'll work on something, they'll get it like 90% done, and then they'll just be like, oh, that's easy to fix, I'll move on to the next thing. And by the time the end of the game rolls, or when it becomes close to launch time, they have to get a crunch. They have a huge crunch time where they have 50 different things that are 90% done, and they're all easy to fix, but it's just like a massive crunch. And the way he's trying to avoid that is he's planning like mini crunches throughout the entire development of the game. So they're having a mini crunch right now before December, before the dogfighting module comes out, to like pump this thing out. But once that dogfighting module comes out, it's pretty much going to be good to go. And I freaking love that design philosophy.
Speaking of Chris Roberts, he's been around since the early early days of PC gaming. He started his career out with Wing Commander, Privateer, Freelancer. If you were gaming back then at all, you would know those games just by someone talking about them. Wing Commander was one of the big first space sims that came out, and his philosophy is make a game that people will love, play, and remember for the rest of their lives. Wing Commander was probably his biggest success when it comes to that, and it just built over the years. I mean, they got stars to come to his game to do voice acting work, and they actually became one of the first games to do full motion video. Like Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, he came and became a character that everyone recognizes from that Wing Commander series. If you were a big fan of it.
Yeah, I can't. I hope they do something along those lines. I know that in the podcast, or not the podcast, but in the live stream that they did today, the storyline's actually going to be driven by player interactions. It's going to be. Somebody asked him and made the comparison between Mass Effect. Is the dialogue going to be Mass Effect type, where you kind of have like a mouse wheel and you can choose what you want to say? And they said that they're trying to steer away from this because they want a more dynamic experience where if you say something wrong, you can't just go back in the conversation and say all the different options to make sure that you hear every single thing this person's got to say, and then come back to them 10 minutes later and have the same exact conversation. If you get in a conversation with somebody in Squadron 42 and you insult them, they're going to give you a dirty look and they're going to walk away, and they won't want to talk to you for until maybe a later point in the storyline. So
once but once the Squadron 42 storyline is over, he's looking to branch out the story to player-driven. Basically, he wants everyone to create their own story. There's going to be everything from space stations to cantinas, bars, all these places where social interaction is going to happen. He wants players to create their own lore for their character. He wants them to create their own history for their character. I mean, he wants players to interact with each other and create their own experience, and just trying to flesh out the idea here that he just wants.
He wants a fluid living universe where it's completely player driven, and that, like, on top of that, there's like the death system where when you create a character, you have about 7 different lives, and every time you lose a life, you'll have a new scar on your body. You'll be missing a finger, or your eye will be messed up, or whatever. So when you actually go to a bar and you look around, you'll be able to tell like who the veterans are. Like, that guy's obviously been alive and he's lost a lot of his lives because he's missing an arm, he's missing an eye, he's missing a leg, or whatever. And then once you die, I think on your 8th time or something, I don't know the definite number, but once you die on like your 8th life, you respawn at your funeral as your beneficiary, and that way, the universe is forever fluid. People don't live forever in MMOs or in real life, so why would they live forever in an MMO? My WoW character is the same WoW character that I created like 7 years ago or whenever the game came out. So the universe is ever expanding and it's always fluid and it grows. The universe on launch day is going to be nothing after 3 months. It's going to be completely different. There's going to be new players, new people, new everything.
Oh, definitely. And like you were saying before, your WoW character, I mean, once you create that character, I mean, that's it. You can change their hairstyles. You'll get some shiny new armor. But in this, it's basically you create the character and he will change over time. He'll look battle-hardened. And like you were saying before, if you lose an arm or a leg, it's been said that once you do, they're replaced by basically biomechanical implants and artificial limbs and eyes.
That just makes me think straight Star Wars, dude. Like Luke Skywalker, like the metal hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like you were saying, your beneficiary. This is basically something that happens at the beginning of the game when you create your character. When they've stated when you create your character, you're in front of 2 doors, male and female. You're actually going to the bathroom. You pick what your gender is going to be. You walk into the bathroom, and your character goes over to the sink and runs some water, and it steams up the mirror. And then your character wipes away the mirror, and that's when you actually select your character's characteristics. Your eye color, hair, facial hair, all that good stuff. And then once you leave the bathroom with everything that you want your character to look like, you actually find out you're a UEE.
Fighter pilot.
What is it? Yeah. You're not a fighter pilot yet. You're actually signing up to join the UEE forces. And
to earn your citizenship.
Yes, earn your citizenship. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, continue.
When you're earning your citizenship, so once you sign your contract saying, yes, put me in the armed forces, you also name your beneficiary, which is going to be your character when he dies. That's what everything's going to go to. Every ship you've earned, all your money. But of course, some of that money is going to go to your funeral and other expenses before it goes to your beneficiary. So
Taxes.
there is an ultimate goal to dying with your first character, which is you're going to lose some money. But there's also the choice of having your character somehow come back. They haven't really gone into it, but a lot of people are speculating cloning or some other kind of resurrection, I guess you would call it.
I haven't heard about the bring characters back, but I know that it's confirmed where if you're like a super awesome guy, you're like really really good at the game, and you have a ton of money, you can go to a space medical facility and get your arm cloned and get it replaced instead of a mechanical arm. You now have that original arm again, so that you technically have an extra life. You can buy lives in case your character is like really well connected and you don't want to lose those connections.
Oh yeah.
Go
ahead.
Okay, fine, I'll take it. On top of that, like when your main character actually dies, the bigger penalty, other than just losing your credits, is you lose your connections within that universe because you're not the same character. So just like in real life, if I died and reincarnated as myself, I couldn't go up to my mom and be like, "Hey, mom," she would be like, "Who the hell are you?" So it does two things: you lose your connections, but your new character, having known your beneficiary, he's automatically friendly to whatever factions you were friendly with. So if your original character was a pirate lord, your new guy's he's friendly with the pirates, but he's not a pirate lord. So if you don't want to be hunted by everybody and you want to take up a new occupation, you want to be a trader, with your new character you can go and be a trader. You can basically reset. It's almost like a hard reset, and you lose money, you lose credits and reputation and whatever. But I think that's epic, dude.
There's already people planning on the forums what their character is going to be like when it comes to how their main character differs from their beneficiary. Some have said brothers, some have said children. I've seen a couple of posts where they said it's just going to be one character and his incestuous family who just keep going into the UAE to follow their weird ass family's footsteps.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do that, because there was actually a question on the live stream today of people that want to bypass the UEE's the whole storyline. They just don't want to do it and jump right into the real universe and deny that attempt at citizenship. They were confirming that yes, you can do that. You can skip the entire storyline. You won't have some of the connections that you might have gotten towards the end of it, but I guess you could develop your own connections and make it your own way. But there's going to be other ways you can still earn your citizenship. You have to have your citizenship if you want to do certain things in the game. But I think that you can literally day one be whoever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. And I can't think of any other game like that.
One thing about denying citizenship, though, is it grants some benefits. You'll get quicker police response times if you're getting attacked by a pirate. But there's also some downsides because cultures frown upon it. Some of the cultures, like the aliens, such as the Banu, and there's a couple of other alien races. I cannot remember at the top of my head.
I can't remember the names either. They're really weird names.
But yeah, it's like the Vandul, I think, is one of them. But if you become a citizen, they're going to look down upon you and say, "Hey, we don't want to trade with this guy. We're probably just going to pirate him and take all of his stuff."
Exactly.
But so far, the only confirmed playable race is the human beings. But there will be alien races in this universe who will look down upon humans.
Yeah, there'll be alien races, and there'll also be alien ships that you can craft or pilot as a human, like the Banu merchant ship that was announced today or this week.
They also announced the Vandal Scythe, which is a very aggressive-looking ship that looked like a blasted dogfight in.
Yeah, there's what was the name of the scout that came out today? Scanu Scout or something like that?
The Xeon Scout.
The Xeon Scout. And the description of it, there's no picture, but the description is that it is different from like the human-type fighter jet, where you would think, big propulsion in the back, wings on either side for maneuverability. This thing does not have a main thruster. It has thrusters all around the ring, so that you can thrust in any direction you want, whenever you want. So it's like the ultimate fighter jet. So it was said in the description, it's like the bane of all UAE fighter pilots because they can't keep up with it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Its agility is unrivaled, basically.
Yeah. So
Going back to the citizenship thing is even though there are other alien races, they are beginning on the human side. The future has kind of evolved into this futuristic version of the Roman Empire. They basically think it would be very interesting to have citizenship be something you don't automatically receive. You have to earn it through civic duty or military service. It's a way to create a class system, which creates the potential for conflict between the various groups and players. They wanted to put a lot of social ideas into the universe. Since the universe is dynamic, it would create divisions, factions. For example, there's a perfectly valid choice not to be a citizen, but they wanted to include all these social divisions so players will gravitate to one or the other and operate like the real world operates.
yeah, that leads into another thing about like how the economy works in the entire universe and how the universe is completely dynamic, and I find all that to be just. I'm skeptical in the sense that I think, how is he going to do this? I mean, it's never been done before, and if he does it, will it be balanced? Will it work well? I mean, I remember how long it took WoW to figure out the worth of a gold, or for the auction house to balance itself out. There would always be idiots going on there and putting up stuff for like 20 million gold, and then it would end up selling, and you'd be like, what the hell's going on? Like, gold is worth nothing, or there'd be like the third parties that sell credits or gold. I can see that happening in this game. The way that the economy works is there'll be a factory on planet 1, and they need 1,000 ore to create missiles, and their ship, the trading ship, the NPC ship, accepts the mission, and the NPC ship's en route, but it gets pirated by some players, and that never arrives. So the price in the auction house or the World Trading Center, or the Galaxy Trading Center in this hypothesis, the missile price would go up because demand would go up and the price of ore would go up. Or if the NPC ship delivers the ore and some other traders in the area decide to deliver more ore and they start pumping out missiles, prices will go down. And I find that incredibly hard to just take in. It'd be like learning the stock market in a day.
When you're talking about having transports bring materials, that transport is a human player that is bringing materials that they've mined to these factories to build missiles and other weapons. So when they say that the economy is entirely based on players, they mean it. Everything that's built, everything that you obtain is by a player.
Yep. Well, I don't know about that. I remember watching the economy video, and I think he said that if a player does not accept a mission within a certain amount of time, it will be taken over by an NPC just to keep the flow of the universe going.
Okay. That's even better.
So I'm assuming NPCs run the factories and stuff, so you don't have to do that type of stuff.
I'm sure they don't have
no
some guy sitting at a computer on a manufacturing line.
Printing out stuff. You never know. Like me and you were talking about this earlier. The new poll that just came up on the website for the what was it? 32 million mark. The question was, what role would you like to see for future Star Citizenship? And the answers are either bounty hunting, cargo hauling, or information runner. And surprising both me and Oricard, I thought immediately bounty hunting. Like, that seems cool.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be Boba Fett?
Who doesn't want to be Boba Fett? Yeah, exactly. And I voted for bounty hunting, and then the results came up, and it wasn't bounty hunting. And I thought, okay, for sure, number 2 would be cargo hauling, because that sounds kind of, you can be like a smuggler, that'd be kind of fun, Han Solo. But no, information runner. And I'm looking at the stats right now, has 43% of the vote. Information runner. Like, what are you going to, like, I love that the community wants to do that, but I can't think of, like, how that's going to be fun as an information runner. Yeah, I want to be a mailman in the universe.
Exactly. I mean, you think with everything being like digital and being able to send transmissions, they still need some guy to go out into the ass into the universe just to deliver a letter.
Exactly. I guess it would be. I'm sure there's some way to do it, but I think maybe the community. I think maybe the community knows that there's going to be cargo hauling and bounty hunting, but they probably are. Maybe the community is exceptionally smart, and they're voting for information runner just so they get that extra feature in the game. Because
that is true.
The guarantee there's going to be. I know there's cargo hauling, and I know there's bounty hunting. So it's guaranteed, 100% in the game.
And speaking of voting, every time they come up with a new goal, they always have a list of votes, or a poll at the end of the transmission is what they call it for their funding goal. And every single one has different things, and I'm like, what location would you like to see in Star Citizen? What role would you like to see in Star Citizen? Stuff like these. The latest poll was, what location would you like to see in Star Citizen? And so far, 23% of the vote, which is the highest vote, is for a black hole event horizon. Now, if you do, oh yeah, when you do want to vote in these, just make sure at the end of the funding goal you log in and pick one of these goals to pick one of these votes in the poll that you want in the game, because your choices will affect how the game comes out. The developers are really looking into the community to see what they want and what they don't want in the game.
They know They know that we're the reason this game's being made. But honestly, like, I'm looking at this list that you're talking about right now. There's 12 different options or something, and the scale of this game, the amount of money that's being dumped into it, and the amount of news they're having to put out, I think all these things are going to be in the game regardless. I think
by the end of next year they'll be at 100 million for sure.
Yeah, I think that black hole. Maybe the survey is just which one would you like to see first, but they're not going to market it as that because they want to keep this stuff as wrapped up as possible, and so they have news for that that stretch till the 100 million mark. But once, just from a content creation standpoint, they can't afford not to do this. They have something like 700 planets or something already. Like,
oh yeah,
you have to populate those planets with interesting stuff. I mean, imagine Skyrim if it was just a flat plane and nothing to do. Nobody would play it. You need to have interesting stuff at every turn. So I think every single one of these things is probably going to be in the game regardless. It's just a matter of time.
And when it comes to the planets, this being a space sim, they also wanted to include ground combat, which they have announced, and it's going to be first-person shooter based. So far, they've only announced a couple of weapons. One is a pistol, which is called a crossbow. That I don't know why they did that, but okay. And yep. And the other one is a energy-based rifle. They haven't said what kind of first-person shooting they're going to have in it, like game types, or if it's just going to be like an open-world sandbox thing. Because they have also announced that they're going to have, like I've said before, cantinas, bars, space hubs, and orbital platforms, and all these kind of cool little things. But they have announced that there will be a first-person shooter aspect. They just haven't put out a lot of details yet.
I could kind of see it coming. When you load into the Hangar module and you look down at your side, you have a pistol holster. So,
right,
it feels empty not having it there. Like, where's my pistol?
Cool. Yeah, the Hangar module. It's a really neat little thing just to have you being able to preview everything you've bought from the pledge store so far. They have everything in there, from decorations to your hangar to the actual ship you bought if you pledged to get a ship.
Depending on what ship. Not all ships are in there yet. Like the Idris isn't available.
Right. Like, some ships aren't available. I myself got the $80 pledge just to, might as well give it to them because I'm very interested in the game. So I've already checked out my 325A Origin ship. It looks amazing. It's got so many guns on it. The engines look awesome. It's fully interactable. I can climb on my ship. I can hop in the cockpit and just check out the steering stick and all that. I can't fly it yet, but it's going to get out of that hangar soon.
I know that you can fly some ships if you modify the files, but it's nowhere near what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, some players have figured out how to mod the game to put it on this platform in the middle of space and fly out a few of the ships. But a lot of the ships are still buggy and they're not completed. And a lot of them don't have sound effects yet.
The flight simulation is probably just a placeholder from CryEngine, a flight simulator that they put in. But
yeah, they're currently using the CryEngine physics.
Nothing to do with the thrusters. Had nothing to do with any type of Star Citizen programming. So
it's more like it doesn't have anything to do with Star Citizen yet, basically. They just put the ships on there. They still have thruster animations and stuff like that. Some of them you can't shoot the weapons and, see what they look like. But it's not complete yet. It's not final.
Oh, speaking of Information Runner, I'm looking at did you read the 33 million announcement?
I did not.
The Drake Herald in it. Information Runner handily won the final ship roll poll, blah, blah, blah. So they announced the Drake Herald. It says, knowledge is power, and one of the most valuable commodities is pure information. Though one S and 0S, whatever that means. Behind everything is the UEC, blah, 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 blah. The Drake Herald's small armored ship is designed to fit that need and safely get information from point A to B, featuring a powerful central engine for high-speed transit, generating the power needed for effective data encryption/containment, advanced encryption software, and an armored computer core. The Herald is unique among personal spacecraft and designed to be easily cleaned when in danger of capture. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, where are the plans they sent you? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. The Herald includes
little R2D2 popping out of an escape pod.
Exactly. Jettison the information. Like, the Herald includes an array of heavy-duty internal options for data protection, including redundant power subsystems and EMP shielding, and a high-powered broadcast array for data transmission. So I guess, if you have sensitive information that needs to be transported to this planet,
they got to make sure that celebrity sex tape gets across the galaxy.
Of course, dude. That's like number one. Dude, I can totally see like a Star Wars, like Darth Vader. Where are the plans they sent you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Just jettison that damn droid out.
And then the other one that they announced was the Anvil Karak. The Anvil Karak has been the vanguard of the UEE exploration effort in recent years, featuring reinforced fuel tanks for long flight duration, a highly advanced jump drive array and a dedicated computer core room that allows it to put the maximum processing power into jump charting operations. Originally a military exclusive, the Karak is now available for civilian and Pathfinder spacecraft. Features an onboard accommodations to allow for a truly self-sufficient flight, including crew medical and repair facilities and a mapping-oriented sensor suite capable of charting a route home.
Yeah, when Devil here is talking about these facilities, when you enter your ship, it's not just you go straight to your cockpit. You can walk around the inside of your ship.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small and cramped little thing, like my Origin 325, yeah, there's still places you can go and look. I mean, some of these ships have big cargo bays, medical facilities. They also have their own little, like the newest announcement they did was they upgraded their old Avenger ships. They now include a cargo bay, a holding facility,
like a brig.
And like a brig, and a sleep chamber for your character. And when they talked about the sleep changers, basically that'll be your logout. You'll go to your sleep changer, initiate your cryo sleep, and that's how you can log out safely without being pirated or interrupted during your sleep.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know that... Dude, my number one goal for Space Citizen when launch day is to explore. Like, I want to name the galaxy after me, and like they announced that you can leave your mark on the galaxy, which is something we haven't even talked about. This is like Star Citizen 101, and that's like one of the biggest gripes I have with World of Warcraft or whatever, is like everybody got to kill the Lich King, and it didn't mean anything. Didn't mean a damn thing, because 1,000 people did it before you and 1,000 people are going to do it after you, unless you're the very first person to kill the Lich King. But even then, it's like big whoop, nothing matters, it doesn't mean anything. So with Star Citizen, you actually have a chance to build a legacy and leave your mark on the universe. If you're the first person to discover a far corner of the galaxy, that corner of the galaxy is forever going to be named after you. So everybody that plays the game, when they, who knows, that corner of the galaxy could have the biggest deposits of ore in the universe, and it's going to be frequented by miners. I don't know. And, people have to go there constantly. They're going to have to go to Devil's Corner. And, I personally, when I made my account, I named my account DevilDog0491 on YouTube, so that if I discover stuff, it's going to be saying, like, it's going to be an in-game advertisement for me forever. So this Anvil Karak seems like my type of ship. I might actually buy this, because it's a exploration ship that looks like it's designed to be completely internal. Like, you have reinforced fuel tanks and long duration hull and a repair chamber to repair your ship on the fly. So this seems like my type of ship.
Oh yeah, and they've also stated, like, if you start out as a small corporation of miners and information gatherers and stuff, you can become these big powerhouse corporations that every player will know, because you're the only guys that they can go to get stuff or get information, and they'll see you because you'll be a big part of the galaxy.
Exactly. That's what my goal is. I don't know about you, but probably in a later podcast we can talk about the clan and SOS operations and recruitment for Star Citizen specifically, because I don't know about you, but I want to have a fleet of guys on our
Yes.
side. I want to have, our Idris manned by entire SOS members, 8 people in the turrets having capital ship battles, which is another conversation all entirely. But on the live stream today, that was another thing that was brought up was instances.
Yes.
They're not sure how they're going to do it yet, but there will 100% guaranteed be capital ship battles. Think Star Wars battles where they're shooting back and forth like like modern day pirate ships back in the Caribbean, shooting back and forth and stuff like that.
You'll have boarding parties going to each ship,
Dude,
trying to take it over.
I cannot imagine. I cannot wait for this game. I'm having like a nerdgasm right now just thinking about stuff like that, dude.
I don't know about you, but you wanted to be the head of a big corporation. I just want to be the most feared dogfighter in the galaxy, but I'll need wingman for that.
Exactly. Dude, like, there's going to be a role for everybody. I have no problem being an explorer because you can literally make money doing anything. If you're an explorer, you can make money being an explorer by, say you find an asteroid belt that has a ton of gold in these asteroids. You can go to a mining company and say, I'll sell you the coordinates of this asteroid belt that I found. You give me X amount of credits. You can be a really wealthy explorer. You can make money literally doing anything. And
Oh, yeah, just by charting out the galaxy and giving information, you become, which I don't know what is rich to them. It could be 1,000,000 credits or 1,000,000,000.
well, yeah, and that's one thing that I'm so excited about this game for is I've never been excited to be an explorer. I've never been excited to be, a trader or a smuggler or a transporter. But I'm actually excited. Personally, and I think most people can agree, when a game like this is announced, normally it's like, oh, I can't wait to just be a pirate and screw everybody over and take all their stuff. It seems like the easiest and funnest thing to do. But transporting people for a lot of money with, hidden goods in the compartments down below, as, Han Solo type Millennium Falcon transport stuff, smuggler type stuff, sounds extremely exciting to me. I cannot wait to do something like that.
You've definitely changed your outlook on this game since it got first announced.
Dude, that's the first thing that I thought immediately was, let's just kill everybody and take all their stuff. But I can't wait to just do everything.
Oh yeah. Regarding the ships that they're going to be releasing, if you pledge now, some of the ships include insurance. They have lifetime insurance for you. Now, to explain the insurance, first off, pilots in Star Citizen can purchase insurance policies for their ships, modifications, and cargo. It'll ensure that your ship will be replaced and/or its modifications and cargo will be subsidized should your ship be destroyed in a net fight or accident.
Or be pirated.
Right. So, as in real life, insurance policies, they got to be maintained. You have to pay a regular fee in galactic credits, which is going to be their in-game currency. Or your policy will lapse and you'll receive a payout or a ship replacement when your ship is destroyed. They've even gone into great detail to explain that there's going to be insurance fraud, apparently, if you can commit it.
But get together and he has lifetime insurance, and I say, dude, give me your ship, go get a new one from the insurance company. They're going to look into it and they're going to say, you guys clearly know each other. You're playing together all the time. This is fraud. We're taking your ships. We're taxing you a ton of money. Good luck working in the salt mines for the next 2 years.
Oh yeah, if you commit fraud, you will get a criminal record in Star Citizen.
Which sounds like
character
fun
will be
all in its own,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, there's also the theft. If your ship is stolen and someone tries to sell that ship, all of those ships have a whole ID code. So if they try to sell a stolen ship, the police are going to be on them in a split second and try to arrest them, which they haven't explained the arrest system yet. But there is a UAE police force that basically patrols the galaxy in certain quadrants, and
you can play as
make
a
sure
cop
there's no
too.
pirate. You can also play as a cop, but they basically make sure there's no piracy going on, no dastardly things like smugglers, and
And I'm assuming that the police force is going to be absolutely massive, because just in real life, I'm in the military. I'm looking into becoming a cop. It's just like it's kind of a natural path of progression. You're in the military. The skills you gather and acquire within the military are perfect for being a police officer. So I'm assuming the police officer or the police force in this universe is going to be massive because everybody's going to be in the military.
Oh yeah. So, just to get a little bit of a standpoint, when you first saw the trailer that came out, the cinematic trailer, which was actual in-game footage, what was your first reaction?
What is this game? Like when Ruin linked it to me, I was just like, okay, this is nerd Star Trek fantasy. Like, but then I started watching it and I started learning about it. And this game, like, literally every single day, this is like all I can't stop thinking about. My girlfriend probably hates me because I talk to her so much about this game, and I make her watch all my videos that I put out, and I'm just like. Yeah, she's like, she understands that when this game comes out, my life is over for a certain amount of time, and she's not going to see me. So we're trying to get a place together so that in case that happens, she'll be able to still see me every day.
Well, so far the graphical system in this game it's beyond amazing.
Yeah. No, the graphics are the best I've ever seen. They're taking the CryEngine 3, which is already, extremely popular and extremely well known just from the Crysis series. It's one of the best looking engines they could possibly work on, and they're taking it to the next level. They've got unlimited funding apparently, from what everybody can see. So there's no reason for them not to have the best. And Chris Roberts himself, just like myself and just like Orikar and pretty much everybody in my clan, we're all PC enthusiasts, and we all understand that the PC is the strongest platform, and his philosophy is that he does not want to limit the game in any way, so he's not porting it to consoles. He's not doing... He said that the only way he'd go to consoles is if, he has unlimited restrictions.
Everything was his way.
Everything's his way. Like, he has unlimited restrictions. He doesn't have to dumb down the game. He doesn't have to publish it. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to do that. And, every, Xbox and Sony and Nintendo, they're all going to say no, because there's absolutely no way that they would agree to these terms. So there's almost a virtual guarantee that it will never go to consoles. So this game will ever be pushing the envelope on the game. It's not going to be like WoW. It's not designed for the casual player at this point. I mean, casual players will become hardcore players to get into this game, but it's not going to be like WoW, where everything is, backwards compatible in a sense. Like you could play WoW on a fucking Game Boy Advance. Like, I'm sorry to swear, but that's just how it is to me. So, and I love that. I love that this game's constantly going to be pushing the envelope.
It's Star Citizens. It's going to be a PC game through and through. It could never be played on the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, or the Wii U, of course. Their only support so far is for Windows. They may do Linux, they may do Macintosh releases, but so far PC only, exclusive, no buts.
Exactly.
A lot of people have also asked, what kind of system requirements are going to be for this game. Now, they've stated that over the next 24 months, which is through 2014, there's going to be a lot of optimization. Plus, because of the usual fast pace of technology, it's hard to say absolutely, but at the moment, you will be able to play it on a dual-core PC with a GTX 460 or greater and 4 gigabytes of memory. If you're running an i7 2500, 2600, and 2700 or better, with a GTX 670 or greater, then the stars are the limit. Since the game is built on the CryEngine, their system requirements will stay roughly the same as theirs.
That's awesome news. I can't expect it to be any worse than that, or any better than that, because they have. I mean, if this game had hit a wall, say at $20 million, and that was about, they were gonna, maybe hit 25 by the time the game releases, I can understand that system requirements would be, not as polished and not as optimized, but these guys have so much money. There's no reason that they can't make this game absolutely perfect, and I can see the optimization going everywhere. So, and on top of that, they have to work on the Oculus Rift and Track IR and all kinds of stuff. So
they actually also just released new information on something called PBR rendering, which is it's a physical based rendering system that's going to make all the metals, all the leathers shine and look realistic and awesome. They actually have a new Avenger video out.
It came out today.
That came out today. It shows an example of how these new lighting and rendering systems are going to work, and it looks fantastic.
So we're going to include links to that all in the description down below. But can you think of anything else that... Yeah, exactly. But can you think of anything else that basic 101 Star Citizen stuff that people might want to be interested in?
Basic thing you're going to be interested in is this is the game that beats all, that will beat all. If you need any other kind of information, the best place is to go to their official website, which is robertspaceindustries.com.
We'll include links in the
And
description.
we will include links in the description. It has everything you need to know about it, their crowdfunding goals, where you can actually purchase a pledge for a ship, beta, and alpha access, and any other kind of little goodies you want to add on. Prices vary. I mean, the basic pledge... Right, there's sales all the time, but to get a basic pledge to just, get into the game and make sure you have your alpha and beta access is around $35, which if you get a ship with it, so it's not that expensive at all.
Exactly. On the flip side, you could just subscribe to us and listen to our podcast, and we'll be covering this type of stuff every week. So you'll get a pretty broad overview of what you need to know, what the news is for the week, and where we project the game going. So,
and then our upcoming shows will bring the news for the week, and any new information that comes out will be top priority.
We also plan on looking at the forums. The design a ship contest. We're going to be looking at a few of those, and there's a lot of plans for the future. So this has been a pretty good first episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, guys. Well, this is the Star Citizen podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our channels. Blah blah blah, and we will be back next week. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Peace.